The following audio may contain the personal testimonials of some OPTAVIA coaches or clients of OPTAVIA. The results relayed in these messages are based on the unique experiences of the participants, and we cannot guarantee like or similar outcomes. While you may be inspired by these accounts, please note that any stories of success have not been verified and your individual path to optimal health will vary. As always, it is our recommendation that you consult with a healthcare provider before starting a weight loss program. Yours in health, the OPTAVIA team.
And I just want to say welcome to all of you here. For the next 30 minutes, I get the enormous opportunity to share a little bit about the full offering of OPTAVIA. Some of you may have been invited here by a friend, some of you may be a client on our program, or maybe you're currently already an OPTAVIA coach. And we just want to say welcome to all of you. We're going to share some amazing information that's going to help you to fully understand what the full offering of OPTAVIA is. And we're also going to share some specific testimonials from physical therapists and occupational therapists. Now, I'm just your host and moderator, but I've had an opportunity to have a massive transformation with the OPTAVIA program. So my personal experience is that 10 years ago, I ended up losing 100 pounds with the program. And at the time, I was working with physical therapists and clinic owners in the world of business consulting. And it wasn't necessarily my mind that I was going to get healthy and actually go out there and help a bunch of physical therapists and health professionals and a lot of people to get healthy. But after I was transformed by the program, I was encouraged with this idea that actually I had something to offer. And one of the health professionals I was working with, who was a physical therapist who had 5 physical therapy clinics and actually had a 25,000 square foot fitness facility, actually asked me what I was doing to get healthy. And being not a health professional, I was a little intimidated because I thought he must know more than I do. But when I began to talk to him, he was basically explaining to me that his busy lifestyle and running clinics and just reacting to all the things that were going on in his world, he had just allowed himself to take him out of the self-care focus. And I was actually his coach. I actually became an OPTAVIA coach with a little hesitation, but he was one of the first people that I was able to help. And he went on to losing 50 pounds, and then he was able to encourage other peers and his patients, and then he began to expand and started sharing with his physical therapy peers. And I began to become inspired because I wasn't a healthcare professional, but I was able to help a healthcare professional and his practice to get healthier. And then I began to see the epidemic, and I know that some of you know about this massive epidemic. It's actually a global pandemic, where we now have 37.9% of 20-year-old and older adults that are suffering from obesity, which is got a lot of different challenges that come with it. Many of the lifestyle-related diseases like heart disease and cancer and diabetes are directly correlated back to weight and obesity. And then when you look at the bigger number, 70.7% of Americans are struggling with weight, and they're in the overweight and obese classification. Now, it's not all about weight, but the weight of the nation is that $2.3 trillion in healthcare is spent on reacting to a lot of these problems that come from obesity. And when I began to see that there was so much money being spent on reacting to disease, and here there was this comprehensive physician-led lifestyle program that could actually solve a lot of those problems, I became passionate about sharing this idea of health and health coaching through OPTAVIA with my friends and family members. And I never thought it would actually become a full-time career. I never knew that I could actually help health professionals to help themselves and then help their patients. But you're going to get a chance to hear from some of those people tonight that simply got healthier because somebody introduced them to this amazing program. And if you are a physical therapist or occupational therapist or anybody that's interested in credibility, we have almost a 40-year history and a rich medical heritage. We have clinical studies that you can reach out to the person that shared this video with you and get those clinical studies. We have peer-reviewed research. It's sound, and it's science-based. Dr. Wayne Scott Anderson is the 10th physician board certified in critical care, and he left critical care medicine almost 20 years ago to start this amazing vehicle called OPTAVIA, which stands for the optimal way of living. And his passion coming out of the practice of anesthesiology and being in very large teaching hospitals and underneath some of the best mentors, he found that he couldn't do what he really wanted to do in the operating room. He couldn't end up helping a person to thrive. He could help them to survive, but he wanted to help them to survive or to thrive by teaching them healthy habits. But he knew he couldn't do it inside of the healthcare system because the healthcare system was a reactive market. So he created a new market, a market called health coaching and lifestyle. And he started to use a strategy that was already proven in the medical space, and he began to partner that with personal coaching. And he began to train health coaches and health professionals to use a health coaching program that would end up giving people healthy habits one at a time and help them to transform their lives. And that's exactly what he's been able to do. And you'll see that some of the research with our financial institution has actually been documented in Wall Street. We've actually been listed as one of the 100 most trustworthy companies in the country in Forbes magazine in 2016 and in 2017. So it wasn't just the medical science that was trustworthy, is that there was actually a revenue model that could actually compete with medicine in a different kind of way. It's almost like a new method of helping people to get healthier and not having to charge them large sums of money to get them healthier. What a novel idea. Maybe that would end up fixing the healthcare system is what he thought. But he knew he needed to have a comprehensive system. It couldn't just be a diet or a detox or a fitness program. It actually had to be a healthy mind program. And so using a 4-component system, he was able to create a transformational system. And we're going to walk through these 4 components really quick. And I'm going to get a chance to introduce a few of our OPTAVIA coaches who are also health professionals and have them talk about their personal story. The first component is the OPTAVIA coach. Our coaches are not all health professionals. We have close to 25,000 of them as of the recording of this webinar. And those 25,000 come from lots of different walks of life. There's business consultants like me, there's health professionals, physical therapists, occupational therapists, massage therapists, personal trainers, dietitians, licensed nutritionists, cardiologists. They come from all walks of life. And then there's people that are just passionate about helping people that don't have a college education that become certified OPTAVIA coaches so that they can actually help themselves and help other people to get healthier. This one-on-one coaching support is done virtually over the phone and on the internet. So it's not something that has to be done inside of a clinic. It's actually done in a very flexible environment. And what coaches are is they're not experts. Some of them may be very studied and well-educated, but OPTAVIA coaches are not meant to be the know-it-alls. OPTAVIA coaches are supposed to be the people that are actually coaching people to take the next step and to get them plugged into an amazing physician-led lifestyle program. Dr. Anderson's Habits of Health system is actually that system that we guide people through. It's the educational system, the curriculum, if you would call it that. And there's a book, a workbook. There's also podcasts, videos, webinars, and many different virtual resources, as well as a interactive website where there's lots of different blogs and resources at habitsofhealth.com. And those resources are things that coaches provide as need-to-know basis to our clients on the program. As they're guiding their way through this process, our coaches are giving them just-in-time information to help them to overcome the barriers and obstacles that they face. Well, I can't wait to introduce you to this next panelist. Meghan and Brandon Renna have a varied background as different therapists, occupational therapists and physical therapists, but I can't wait for you to hear a little bit about their transformational story, physically, mentally, and vocationally. Brandon and Meghan, are you there?
I'm here. Thanks so much. Yeah, it was fun actually, even because the field of OT and PT is what brought us together. Selfishly admitted, I was a new grad, working eagerly to develop, figure out what path I wanted to take in the medical field. And I used to tiptoe back to physical therapy very often because of the cute guy that worked there. But the more that Brandon got to know me, he actually pointed me in the direction of OT, because he just, said it was a little bit more of a creative approach to kind of treating the whole person. And it was true. I did fall in love with it and loved serving in the military in that setting. I saw, though, very much that the patients that I worked with and served, they had the best outcome and the longest term success if they were in community. They found the best healing that way and the best growth. If they felt valued and they felt heard, if they took ownership over improving, and then we're more focused on the prevention side of things. After my dad got sick, I decided to get out of the military and then support my husband going to grad school for PT, Loma Linda, which was not the cheapest of routes. But I was quickly a little bit disheartened to then work in the civilian care, where I just realized how much freedom I had within the military to really give whatever I felt was best. And then see in the civilian sector, it was a lot much more insurance dictated care. People were cut off usually after, 6 or 8 weeks, just as they were starting to really see some improvements, and sometimes come back even in worse situations than before. And so I was even feeling like I was breaking down my own body, my own joints, not really being able to take fully care of my own self. And it just, after a while, it didn't fit with the lifestyle that we were wanting to create, especially as my dad was continuing to ail. So after he passed, I just had a little bit of a crisis of conscience, and tried to find a new path and be able to morph some of the things that I learned of seeing people heal in community, seeing people heal in that prevention mindset. And so I actually went to counseling psych for school, just to see, again, what are those thought patterns that could be shifted and changed. And so I didn't necessarily know what the right path was going to be for me, but I just felt that calling that I needed to go, I needed to grow and learn in this area. And funny enough, I had been seeing my good friend that had been coaching for a number of years continue their transformation story after transformation story of our mutual friends. And I just finally said, how are you doing this? And you're still with your kids at home and you're traveling all the time and having all kinds of. So I actually reached out to her to figure out, what is this amazing program that you were helping people with? Because at the time I had a 3-year-old and a 3-month-old. So I was a little, in that mommyhood now, but also still wanting to serve community, make an impact in other people's lives, but still very much be home with my boys. And so coaching really found me then, because it has truly been morphing everything that I love all into one. I can't even believe that we now have the largest multidisciplinary team, an approach to really preventing and treating people in terms of the longer term care and approaching all of the aspects to help them grow and learn in every single aspect of that healthy body, healthy mind, healthy finances. You'll hear a little bit more about that. But now I just feel so much joy that we do get to have an integrated life where we are both actually home full time now. Never imagined we would have that kind of a lifestyle, getting to really impact and help people. I was washing the face paint off of my face because we were volunteering for our son's summer camp earlier today, and then came home and we were able to support clients and some of our coaches. So we were just really thankful for that freedom and flexibility to make a huge impact, really see people not only restore function and get back to their activities of daily living, but really stretch far beyond that and discover what their best self looks like, because of that whole approach that we get to take in living that integration with the collaboration in the community. So.
Right. Well, I got started in physical therapy in 1999, and really, really fell in love with it. I was a PT assistant at the beginning, and then, like Meghan said, I went to grad school to get my doctorate and everything. And so I've worked in a lot of different clinics, from outpatient to inpatient, neurological, and all these different settings where I got to see how capable the body was of healing itself with the right kinds of interventions. And so I got to help people return to full duty in the military, and then return to their sports, and then return to jobs to be able to make money for them, for their families and everything. But all the while doing PT, I always felt a little bit of a sting that I was too limited in my scope. And like Meghan was talking about, that multidisciplinary team, that's where I noticed the patients got better faster, and also when they owned their own recovery. I saw that the healthcare system inherently placed more responsibility on me as a provider than placing it on the patient. And so over the years, I worked long shifts, 20 years or something like that, and all that debt was really starting to choke us. And as my family grew and the strain of that student loan and everything mounted, I realized this isn't the life that I wanted for 20 more years, and I couldn't keep it up. I felt incongruent, you know, and Dave touched a little bit on that about congruency and what we know to do and what we actually do. And I just realized, like, this isn't going where I wanted it to go. So it isn't any wonder why OPTAVIA was so appealing to me. I lost about 30 pounds over time with the program, and then my wife began coaching, and now we sit here debt-free, free of any financial entanglements in that way. I'm still practicing healthy habits. I get to do what I was telling my patients to do, right? And that's that congruency that I was trying to seek. I'm actively pursuing a healthier mind through being a coach myself. We get personal and leadership development offered through OPTAVIA and everything. I've left that outpatient clinic a year ago. This is like in a month, it'll be a full year, and I'm pursuing what life looks like as a health coach. I'm showing up better for my kids. I'm showing up better for my wife, and looking kind of what private physical therapy will look like for me. I get to feel more congruent, like I said, between my aspirations and my actions, because honestly now I'm living what I'm teaching. So that's kind of all from us.
Yeah, it's always hard to move backwards in your health if you're helping other people move forward.
Right.
So thanks for letting us share.
You bet. Well, we just want to say thank you to both of you for serving our country, and now you're really serving our country at a very deep and important time, moving people not just to a healthier physical life, but a healthier mental life with our transformational program. So thanks so much for all you've done and all you continue to do as leaders. In terms of the next component, so we have the health coach component, we have the lifestyle program or the educational component, and then we also have this what we call the OPTAVIA community. And the community kind of brings it all together. The community is both local and virtual community events, virtual support calls. Every Wednesday night we have our Habits of Health call, video call that is basically teaching people the habits of health principles. So the coaches don't actually have to be the masters in knowledge and education. They don't have to have the advanced education that Meghan or Brandon or any of our health professionals have, even though some of our health professionals are one of the leaders of those calls. We have people that are talking about real life principles, and we also have our expert nutrition support team with registered dietitians and licensed nutritionists. So our coaches don't have to have a degree in dietetics or exercise science or kinesiology. They can simply be the guide to get clients connected to the experts, which is a great strategy for a physician-led program to provide that safety and also to provide that expertise while still providing the personal care from a personal coach. The fourth component of our program is the Fuelings. Our Fuelings are portion controlled, they are nutrition balanced, their protein carbohydrate ratio is on point. And the way that our strategy works is we're teaching people how to make healthy nutrition choices and building in the habits of healthy nutrition and hydration to give people very predictable results. Every one of our clients is a little different in terms of their dietary preferences or in terms of their nutrition choices, but what we're able to do is provide very simple meal planning for those who want to lose weight, that are not doing any rigorous exercise, and to provide individuals the opportunity to actually do exercise if they're an exercise enthusiast or a fitness fanatic, we like to call them. If you really are passionate about it, there's a meal plan that is done for you. It's something that's customizable if you choose, but it's also very simple if you choose. So for people that are looking for simplicity, they're looking for predictability, and they want a strategy that is convenient and can meet them at the speed of life, our fueling system is really our catalyst that provokes or speeds up significant change. We have over 60 different fueling options with lots of other types of products that are cost neutral. Most people will use the Fuelings in exchange for what they would typically go out and try to buy with healthy, natural food groceries. And they don't have to do the planning, the purchasing, the preparing, and the portion sizing. They just simply go and they eat every 2 to 3 hours, and they're provided with a quality fueling and a grab-and-go strategy so they don't have to spend a lot of time counting points, calories, or carbohydrates. Now, some of you may be in a position where you are already at a healthy body weight, and you're looking at health coaching and OPTAVIA, and you're saying, well, I don't have to lose weight. Can I still be a coach and actually be a difference maker? Well, our next panelist has got a great story, and I can't wait for you to hear about her substantial education and her substantial training that she was doing in the physical therapy world, and how she's taken that and moved into health coaching. Dominique, welcome to the webinar.
Hey, good evening, and thank you so much, David. I'm always excited to share my story. So 2006 was actually a turning point for me. I had taken a position in corporate America, and I was working long days, long hours. I was tired. I had very little energy, didn't sleep very well, and I was actually hypoglycemic. My waistline was slowly expanding, so I did have a small weight loss story here. But so I was introduced then by a friend of mine to OPTAVIA. And the research that you just mentioned earlier, that really was the turning point for me, that I wanted to try the program. I was skeptical at first, but looking into the research, I found that it was really a solid program. So I went on the OPTAVIA program, the 5-in-1, and after 1 week, my energy already went through the roof. I slept already better in that short period of time. And after 4 weeks, I had actually lost 10 pounds, which was great. So, and what this did, it really empowered me with tools and good habits that have served me for the last 13 years. So, and I hope they will serve me through the rest of my life. So it wasn't until 2010 when I went back to my first love, outpatient physical therapy, that I quickly realized that this evidence-based program could really help my patients. And we all have those patients that with no matter how much manual therapy, core stabilization exercises, and all the PT skills we throw at them, they just reach that plateau. And the reason for that is, and they know it very well too, if they would lose 10, 15, 20, 30 pounds, they would probably do much better. Because mind you, every pound that a patient loses is 4 pounds less on their joints, so especially the weight-bearing joints. So I started offering this program that helped me 4 years before that. And I had incredible results, to be honest with you, so it was amazing. My patients were able to run actually 5 or 10K again. So they were able to sit on the floor with their grandkids. I recall a 79-year-old who never thought he would play tennis again, went back to play tennis. So anyway, the list goes on and on and on. And these are physical changes, but there were also significant mental changes, I should say. They had more confidence. They had better relationships. So it was really life-changing. So I quickly realized that this was the wellness program that's so congruent with what we do as physical therapists. And that was in 2010. And if you, as a PT, you probably know that the APTA in 2018 actually has established the Wellness Council. If you look at that definition, it is congruent with what we do. So I basically had put a lifestyle program in place in 2010 already. And the beauty of this program was that I didn't have to increase overhead in the clinic. I didn't have to buy new equipment. There's no billing, there was no CPT codes for this. The company paid me very well as a health coach to coach my patients. And there was no paperwork, yay. And it really didn't take any extra time because I was able to coach my patients while they really were coming for therapy. So during our one-on-one time, I was able to coach them. So it also increased referrals because their friends and family and neighbors and all of them, they saw the results and they wanted the same. They came and wanted to get on the program as well. So I just had happier patients. So it's just a win-win-win situation, right? So as a PT, I know we make a huge difference. I still see patients in the store and they say, hey, you did my shoulder and look how great it is. But when I added the health coaching aspect, I felt that I was really making a huge impact. So I really fell in love with health coaching, one patient at a time. And I jumped off the cliff, as some would say, but because I decided to help more and more people, and because there is a huge, huge need out there. And what it gave me in return was my life, I have much more balance in my life. I have a much more balanced life. I'm able to travel. I've traveled so far this year, I think 6 or 7 weeks out of this year so far, because I can coach my clients from anywhere in the world. So sometimes I'm in Belgium and people don't even know I am there. So, which is really nice. I don't have to go to an office in the morning. I personally maintain my great vibrant health, even though those goals change once in a while. So you always want to shoot better and better, but so, I mean, it keeps me accountable. And we have, time and resources to do the things we really want to do. My daughter goes to a college prep school, private school in Georgia. I can go up there once a month if I want to. So I don't have to ask for time off anymore. So, which is really nice. So, and now I'm actually also partnering with other health professionals and non-health professionals to make even a bigger impact. And so far we all together have coached over 1,000 patients or people. So it's really not complicated, so, and in return, I like to help them as well to create more balance in their lives. So I'm honored and I'm extremely grateful to be part of OPTAVIA and the incredible mission that Dr. A has and vision that he has. And I know we're expanding to other parts of the world. And that is extremely exciting for me. So that's my story. Thank you so much, David. I'm excited that I was able to share that.
Yeah, we're excited as well. And obviously you can see from the screen is the Trilogy of Optimal Health is the full offering of OPTAVIA, and health coaches from lots of different walks of life get a chance to benefit from that. Now, in your case, you may not be a health professional, or you may be somebody that's interested in incorporating this into your practice, and everybody wins when health coaching is taking place with OPTAVIA. There's lots of different benefits of becoming an OPTAVIA coach, and you may see something on the screen right now that kind of speaks to you, whether it's you're reinforcing your healthy decision or doing something that's fun, paying it forward to make a difference and to become significant, or maybe it's the opportunity to make compensation for doing really good things in the world, like helping people to get healthy. Well, this next panelist, Todd Nicholson, has done a lot of good, and he's doing well because of it. And Todd, we're just so thankful for all you're doing. And thanks for sharing your story tonight on tonight's webinar.
Thanks, David. Appreciate the invitation and appreciate the opportunity to share. Yeah, as a physical therapist, about 7 years ago, a friend of mine who you hear from next, actually, Scott, one of my best friends, introduced me to this program that he was doing in his clinic and said, dude, you need to look at this. So I looked at it, and then I set it aside because I was too busy and I didn't have time to worry about my own health. And about a year later, I changed my mind, and it was the best decision I made. And I just regret the year that I set it aside, unfortunately. I was not a good example for my patients. I wasn't a good example for my staff, my family, and myself. I was practicing very poor habits of health. And when I stepped on the scale and saw numbers I didn't like and had never seen before, I called Scott and we got started. I lost 33 pounds in about 6 weeks. Results not typical, but it transformed my life in a physical way, and an emotional way and a mental way more than I could ever imagine. I thought I was relatively healthy, but I had no idea how unhealthy I really was. And it really changed so many things. That first picture showed my daughter and I finishing a half marathon together. I was a sprinter in high school and college and really thought distance runners were kind of crazy, and still do, but I became one of them. And we have finished 2 half marathons hand in hand. It's kind of a cool experience. Not part of the program, but I was able to do that because of this program. And then when I really stepped back and saw what it was doing for me, I thought, well, let's do this for my patients. And so I became a health coach, and the transformation in my clinic has been fantastic. I have physicians referring people to me now because they see what's happening. I have patients that just love coming back because they can talk about their health on a much deeper level than just my back hurts. As PTs, we're taught how to fix my back hurts, but we're not really taught how to fix the other things. And OPTAVIA has given me those tools to be able to do that. So I can really comprehensively help my patients on a much deeper level. Before it was, eat better, exercise more. That's how you lose weight. That's how you get rid of, and we didn't have the tools. But giving what OPTAVIA gives us, now we have those tools, and I'm able to help people on a much, much deeper level. And it's really transformed my clinic and has given me the resources and the pathway to make this my retirement eventually, hopefully sooner than later. And I will be able to do what the Rennas are doing and just stay at home. So it's fantastic. As one more thing before I let Scott talk, as a coach, part of the reason I did it is to pay it forward to my patients. Scott gave me a gift and I wanted to pay that forward, and I didn't want to fall backwards. And so part of it was selfish. I just wanted to be, accountable to other people so that I continued my own journey. But it's been great.
Great. Thanks so much, Todd. And clients naturally progress to go to the coach role because they oftentimes get people that comment about their progress or ask them questions about what they're eating or why they changed and how they did it. And so it's a natural progression for most clients to want to help other people. And the fact that they have more accountability if they're doing so is just a nice fit. There's also different roles that you can play in OPTAVIA. This progressive growth model that is shown on the screen shows how you can progress. If you want to just coach clients, you can coach one client or you can coach 5,000. It's up to you to decide how many people you coach. You can also become a business coach with OPTAVIA, and you can actually train other OPTAVIA coaches on how to utilize the system. And then you can become a business leader if you choose, and you can grow in competency and skill sets to begin to build teams of coaches all around the country and now the world here in the very short future. And this is what is so cool about the business model, is that you can do it at your pace. It's a very relational model. It's all focused on health. It's not focused on sales or pushing or selling and telling. It's actually sharing and caring. And you can work as an independent contractor. You don't have to have fixed hours. The hours are very flexible. They're just not optional. You can do it spare time, part-time, or full-time, and it's only $199 for the startup cost. And for those of you who have gone through continuous education or who have gone through the developing of a practice, you understand the costs that go with that. And this is one of the great things about OPTAVIA is you have so many cool things that take place that are so cost effective, and there's no monthly quotas or manipulation or pushiness that gets you to try to do more. You get a chance to choose what you do. And our next panelist is going to share a little bit about why he decided to integrate this into his practice and then into his community. Scott, welcome to the webinar.
Thank you, David. I was introduced to the program in 2010, and I did a 28-day challenge at that time, and I lost 30 pounds. And again, as Todd said, results not typical. But the thing that I gained even more than just losing the weight was an appreciation and a mindfulness of what I was putting into my body, what I was doing on a regular basis in regards to healthy food, hydration, movement, and sleep. And I realized how much better I felt when I followed the simple practices that the Habits of Health preach and teach. And so it was just natural for me to add this to my clinic and add this to my practice. And as an entrepreneur who's been in his own practice for 20 years and has tried almost every type of program and thing that's out there to, grow my practice and maintain my practice stability through the years, I found nothing that was as simple and easy to implement at such a low cost as the OPTAVIA program. It's something that is extremely reproducible and simple to train. We use a mentorship team coaching type of training, which gets the person growing and comfortable as they're ready. Like David said, you're not pushed into doing something you're not comfortable for because you have people who've gone there before to teach you and train you how to do that. There's a client that I had, and I'm going to be real brief with his story, but because I could talk forever, but he came to me and he was in a broken place, and he was a counselor and a coach and a big influence in his community, but he was hurting. And so he started the program to get his health going in the right direction. And in 6 months, he lost 95 pounds, but more than that, it transformed him back into the person that he was meant to be and able to provide the best version of himself. And during that time, I saw a coach in him that he didn't see, and he became a coach. He has become one of the top 10% of coaches within OPTAVIA, because he has grown and he's listened and he's followed directions and he's done the things that his mentorship team has asked him to do, and he's experienced extremely positive results from that, which is cool for me because not only has Pete benefited from it, Pete coached his father, and so that healthy ripple effect of now I can not only see physical therapy clients get healthy within my four walls, but we're expanding the walls of our clinic and going outside those walls to help people not only in our community but across the country. From a small town in central Iowa, we're having a reach, and just within 2 years, Pete has impacted more than 400 lives through this program. And so that healthy ripple of what we can do puts us on the forefront of modern medicine. And rather than practicing reactive medicine, we're out there practicing preventative medicine and reaching into places. And if you want to set your practice apart, if you want to show that you're unique and on the forefront of modern medicine, you don't need a new piece of equipment. You need to be practicing this type of healthcare to really help your patients transform their lives. So thank you, David.
Thank you, Scott. And that is a great segue to the next step, which is if you're interested in learning more about becoming an OPTAVIA coach or integrating OPTAVIA into your practice, reach out to the person that invited you to watch this video, because they can give you the stepping stones, whether you choose to refer your patients to that coach or whether you actually partner with them and create a revenue stream by simply helping your patients to create lifelong transformation, one healthy habit at a time. On behalf of all the panelists, thanks for watching this video. And if you've liked this video, please share it with somebody else that you think would benefit from watching it. Have a great night, everybody.
This audio may have contained the personal testimonials of some OPTAVIA coaches or clients of OPTAVIA. The results relayed in these messages are based on the unique experiences of the participants, and we cannot guarantee like or similar outcomes. While you may be inspired by these accounts, please note that any stories of success have not been verified and your individual path to optimal health will vary. As always, it is our recommendation that you consult with a healthcare provider before starting a weight loss program. Yours in health, the OPTAVIA team.